Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and shout out to the day one subscribers. Special shout out to you folks. Feeling good today. Got a couple things that I want to talk about. One, I want to talk a little bit about this article that I read about Sega and how they're cashing in on some of their most classic and iconic licenses and characters. And then I also want to talk just a little bit about the retro collecting scene, what I'm seeing locally, what's happening with me, and then share a little bit of information about what you can expect on the new channel. Yes, I'm starting a secondary channel. I mentioned it in one of my earlier videos today, but I'll talk about it a little bit more a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and dive in. So there's an article that came out on VGC, and it says why Sega is reviving classics like Shinobi and Jet Set Radio across games, film, and TV. And it says transmedia boss Justin Scarpone explains how the gaming giant is planning to become an entertainment juggernaut. The article is by Andy Robinson, and he says, if you weren't paying close attention, you could be forgiven for not noticing that Sega, best known for the Sonic the Hedgehog, Persona, and Like a Dragon, has quietly become an entertainment powerhouse outside of video games. Thanks partly to the huge success of Paramount Sonic movies plus mega license deals with the likes of Lego and Roblox, Sega's transmedia business has grown significantly since 2020, jumping 107 places on the License Global's top 100 licensor list to number 39, above the likes of Sony Pictures. That's saying a lot. Sega says it now generates nearly $1 billion in annual retail sales of toys, clothing, and merchandise alone. Justin Scarpone, who joined Sega earlier this year following the lengthy career at Disney and others, is the company's new global head of transmedia, whose job is now to take the success of the Sonic brand outside of video games and replicate it with Sega's other franchises like Persona and Like a Dragon across film, streaming, TV, live shows, and merchandise. Having joined the company 6 months ago, Scarpone arrives at a busy moment for its transmedia efforts. The company is gearing up for the release of the third Sonic the Hedgehog movie next month, and its live-action Like a Dragon series premiered on Amazon Prime last month. Speaking to VGC at Gamescom Asia, Scarpone said he has big ambitions for Sega's future as an entertainment company and revealed he plans to open an official Sega store in Tokyo, Japan. Anyone else excited? Potentially most exciting for older fans is the company's initiative to bring back legacy IP like Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, and Jet Set Radio. Last year, the company announced multiple game revivals are in development and confirmed film and TV projects for the likes of Eternal Champions, Golden Axe, and Shinobi. The strategy is to turn us into an entertainment company with games as our core pillar business. Just as Disney said or would say films are, Scarpone told VGC at Gamescom Asia. We want to be in the position where it's okay if there are people who love some of our IP who have never played the game, but have seen all of our films, been to our live shows, been to our attractions, or bought our merchandise. And so this is very, very interesting, right? Because when you think about Sega and all of the amazing Sega IPs, I mean, I know they touched on a few, but Streets of Rage alone, imagine Streets of Rage being an animated series. Imagine Streets of Rage becoming a TV show. Imagine all of the branding that you could put behind just the Streets of Rage franchise alone. Then you have others like Golden Axe, Kid Chameleon, Shinobi, Gunstar Heroes, Alien Storm. I mean, the list goes on. There are so many amazing Sega games. Ristar or Rystar, if that's how you say it. Elemental Master. Geez, I mean, there are so many. The possibilities are endless. There's so much IP that Sega has that they could turn into amazing TV shows, streaming, shows that you can stream. They could turn them into movies, the franchises, merchandise. I mean, the list goes on. And I think that this is just a very, very smart move for Sega. I mean, clearly they weren't able to compete in the long run when it came to the console wars. They basically fell out of that race after the Dreamcast. They still continued to make games, right? Great games, but maybe the console wars just wasn't for them. Maybe consoles isn't their best business model, but they've still been able to turn themselves around and generate $1 billion on some of their classic IPs. And so I think this is very cool for Sega, and I love the balance of this prospect, right? Because I think it's exciting for the younger generation, for the generation that's coming up, because when they see some of this new media, whether it comes in the form of TV shows or whatever the case may be, I'm sure it's going to be presented in a way that's fun, youthful, exciting to folks who maybe have never even heard about some of these video games. And once they do realize that these shows, these TV shows, these games, this merchandise is based on games that came about in the late 80s and early 90s, that will then turn them back probably to some of these original games and make them say, I want to see what these games are about. I want to see, the origins of this TV show. And I think that that's really exciting for a younger generation, but then it's also exciting for the older generation too. If you did grow up playing Streets of Rage, if you did grow up playing Shinobi or some of these, older games, I think it's exciting for you because new life is being breathed into these IPs and into these franchises and into these characters and storylines. And I think it's going to be exciting for us to see how these stories are retold and how they unfold in this new era of media. And so it's exciting for sure. I'm definitely excited about this prospect. Shout outs to Sega. I've always said that I've always been more of a Sega guy than a Nintendo guy. I've always been that way. And even in my collection now, while I do have a good amount of Nintendo stuff, I want to say I have more Sega stuff than Nintendo stuff. I do have a good amount of Nintendo stuff in my retro collection, but I've always been more of a Sega guy. I grew up more so with Sega, and that's just, it's exciting for me to see as a huge fan of all things Sega. And now that takes me to the second topic for today, which is just the retro scene, right? The retro game collecting scene and what I'm seeing out there in the wild. So I haven't done a ton of retro game hunting. I want to say my GameStop hunting has come to what feels like a screeching halt. GameStop hasn't really had much for me. I want to say this past week or so, haven't really had any real major pickups, and I take more L's than I do W's when going to GameStop these days. And so it's just not as worth it for me. It's not to say that I'm sure if I did go to GameStop consistently, like every day, I'm sure I could probably run into like a random PlayStation 2 game or like a random Xbox game, but the juice just hasn't been worth the squeeze. And I'm really trying to value my time with the last, 40, 50 days that we have in the year. 2024 is coming to a quick close. And so I want to really maximize my time. And I'm just really trying to split it up more so between like working out, time with family, working on other projects that I've got going on. And then, still trying to reserve some of that time for some game hunting. So, but as far as retro stuff goes, I am seeing some prices go down for some retro games. I would say that I'm probably at a space where I'm looking for some of the more hard to get games, some of the more grail titles, and I'm like selling off some of the more lower end stuff. I've been finding different avenues and channels to sell some of my retro games, and I've really had to kind of separate it. I have places where I sell a lot of my like 7th gen games, so like my PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games. A lot of those get sold at like one place, and then like my Gen 6 stuff and older, I'll bring to like another. I have like other channels that I'll take for that. When it comes to like PS4 and Switch, I do have like a mom and pop retro game store that I take those items to, because not everybody's gonna buy everything. The places that I go that buys like my Gen 7 stuff, they won't buy Switch and Xbox One stuff or PlayStation 4 stuff, but they'll buy like the Gen 7 stuff. And then I have places that will buy retro games, but they won't touch the Gen 7 stuff. They only really want like Gen 6 and older. So it's kind of finding my channels and seeing where I can sell what. And then I'm also kind of looking into a few different buy lists. I haven't, reached out to any of the bigger like YouTubers who buy games. I know a lot of people sell to like Chase after the right price, and I know a lot of people sell to like Phoenix Resale. But I've actually been trying to like look for, some of the smaller guys, some of the smaller players, and I want to support them and give them business too. No shade against Phoenix or Chase. I'm sure they're doing their thing, but there's so much wealth to go around. I want to really kind of find some of the smaller businesses, the smaller operations, and see how we can do business. So I've just been working on some stuff like that just to see how I can kind of move out some of the items in my collection that I don't need. A lot of those duplicate systems, I've got too many Wii's, I've got too many PlayStation 2s, I've got too many Vitas and Game Boys and certain consoles. So that will all get worked out towards the end of the year, and I'll do my best to kind of capture some of that footage and share that with you all as the weeks go on. And then finally, yes, so I started a new channel. I may leave the link in the description down below, so I'll be sharing that information with you. I don't think that I've posted a video there yet, but I'm still going to, well, at the time of this recording, I have not posted a video there yet. I'm working on a video for that channel, and I really want to do my best to make sure that every video that I post on that channel is kind of edited as best as possible. It's not going to be like, the main gaming channel where, I do a lot of these like off the cuff, on the fly videos. I'm really going to try to make sure that each of those videos are edited. I'm going to try my best to put my best foot forward with that. And a lot of those things, a lot of the things that are going to be talked about on that channel are going to be a lot more practical. And they're going to just deal with more real life stuff. Right now, one of the first things that I want to do, one of the first videos that I'm going to be talking about is really a lot of the, issues that men faced in 2024. There were several issues that men faced in 2024, and I want to talk about those in a constructive format where possibly we can, men can lean on other men and hopefully be able to kind of encourage one another and give each other different tools and tips and strategies for improving their lives overall. But when you think about some of these issues, men have suffered mental health issues in 2024. Men were battling work-life balance in 2024. There was a battle with, gender roles and expectations. Men struggled with that in 2024. Fatherhood, career advancement, health issues, relationship dynamics, even social isolation. These are all topics and things that I think are very relevant for young men today, and I think they're worth talking about. Probably not on this channel because we like to talk about games on this channel, but the second channel is definitely going to be dealing with more of that stuff, and I'm looking forward to having those conversations because I think the more places we can have raw, open, and honest conversation and deep conversation, I think it's only going to help us, right? There's so many places you can go for ratchet content, for the same old people talking about the same things, reacting to the same videos, circulating the same content. Definitely just want to create a different space where we can come together and break virtual bread and share ideas and thoughts. So really excited about that. Like I said, I may leave a link to that channel in the description. Don't have any videos on there yet, but definitely encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. That's a channel that I will promote and ask for you to subscribe to that one, because that one is a one that I think means more to me, just because it deals with more serious topics, so definitely follow that link that I put in the description. Go check that channel out, subscribe. I will have a video out. I'm working on it, so those videos will take longer to go out because I'm spending more time working on them, but I think you'll be able to get a lot out of that. So but that does it for me today. Let me know what you think about Sega's whole endeavors to revive some of their older IP. Also, let me know what you're seeing in terms of the retro scene. What's happening with you? What's happening in your area? Are retro prices going up? Are they going down? Is it easier to pick stuff up? Is it harder? let me know. And then last but not least, for sure, check out the link in the description for the new channel. Hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, so when I do drop that first video, you are made aware. And I will catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.